If it's Wednesday night, you know what time it is. It's time for Wednesday Night Mayhem live on YouTube and StreamYard.com. Hello, everybody. It's good old MF Michael Fletcher alongside Anthony Florio and Michael Bullock. And here we go, guys. Another edition of AEW and NXT. So we're just going to dive right on in, guys. And we started it off tonight with AEW as it was Eddie Kingston going one-on-one with Pac. When it was all said and done, Pac wins the match in 9 minutes and 31 seconds. This was a good opener. This was a solid opening. I really enjoyed the match. I really think it was really good. Solid opener to say the very least. I think it could have gotten a little more time, but I understand it. I thought they worked really well. I'm not the biggest Eddie Kingston fan. I'm just gonna openly admit that. But Pac is an amazing talent, no doubt about it. And this was a solid opener, 3 stars for me. So Anthony Florio, come on in. It's all yours.
Well, I'll tell you, MF. This was a very good match. I think this was a good, solid 3 to 3.25 star match. Um, I agree. The match was a little too short for our liking, but maybe they're saving something big for down the road. I don't know, but for right now, this was a good first outing for these two, and they got another one in them. There's no doubt about that. So it's a solid 3 to 3.25 stars for me. So not much more to say. Michael Bullock, come on in. Let's get your thoughts.
Yeah, 3 to 3.25 stars. I do agree. I mean, this was definitely a good way to start it off. I mean, I would have loved to see a little more in this match, but in the amount of time it did get, I mean, I actually enjoyed it. And you know what? I'm with you, Fletch. I'm not the biggest Eddie Kingston fan. I mean, let's just say he can get on my nerves a little bit. But yeah, I got a feeling this is not the end between these two. I got a feeling these two are definitely gonna go at it again somewhere down the line. So there's really nothing more to say. Let's just move right along, Fletch.
All right, then. And the next thing that we had was the best man, Miro, alongside Kip Sabian and his fiancee, Penelope Ford. They went up against Chucky T, Chuck Taylor, alongside his buddy, Orange Cassidy. Miro wins the match via submission at 3 minutes and 32 seconds. Guys, I'm going to open this up. If you want to talk about it, we can. If you want to move on, I'm more than fine with that as well.
Move on.
Move on, Anthony?
Move on.
All right, very well. Sorry, AEW. That's the first time in a long time that my boys decided to pull the move on card on you. All right, so after a whole bunch of filler, next up we had was a 6-man tag team match, as it was the AEW World Heavyweight Champion Kenny Omega and the Impact Wrestling World Tag Team Champions Carl Anderson and Doc Gallows. They went up against Griff Grayson, Danny Limelight, and Brian Pillman Jr. And when it was all said and done, the winners of the bout in 9 minutes and 21 seconds, the Elite Kenny Omega, Doc Gallows, and Carl Anderson wins the match. Anthony Florio, for the fans who have not seen Impact Wrestling and not gotten a chance to see the World Tag Team Champions, what a spotlight they got here tonight.
Indeed, they did. But we've seen them before. Not just in Japan, but also when they were in the WWE, when they were part of the club with AJ Styles and everybody else remembers that. And what was the time of the fall again, MF? Just so I can be sure.
9:31.
9:31. All right. I'm gonna give it another solid 3-star effort. I mean, the outcome was never in doubt. We all knew that Omega and the Good Bros were gonna win this thing. We all knew that. But it could have been an easy squash for them, but no, they let the other three, the new Hollywood Blondes and the other guy there. They did a solid job in this one, and they put up a solid fight, but there was no way they were winning that match unless some chicanery went down. But no, this is definitely part of that brand new working relationship between AEW and Impact Wrestling. And, well, get used to those three, because on Saturday night, as part of the Impact Wrestling Hard to Kill pay-per-view, you will see Kenny Omega and the Good Brothers square off against the Impact Wrestling World Heavyweight Champion Rich Swan and the Motor City Machine Guns, Chris Sabin and Alex Shelley. So that's got show stealer potential written all over it, no question about it. So not much more to say here. Solid 3 stars. Michael Bullock, I know you were very upset about this because you mentioned it in our chat, but in our messenger chat, I should say. We all thought it was going to be the Young Bucks. I mean, we thought they were talking about the Young Bucks, but no, Don Callis, just like he was when he was the Jackal as part of the Truth Commission in the old WWF in 97, 98. That's exactly what he did. He pulled the rug out from the Young Bucks, and the Good Brothers got the spot. And Bullock, I know you weren't very happy about that.
Well, and it wasn't just me, but the Young Bucks certainly weren't happy. And you also saw in the back, Tony Khan wasn't too happy about it either. It's almost like, Don Callis, you SOB, this was not what it was supposed to be. It was supposed to be the Elite in action. Instead, you throw the Good Brothers in there just for your... That just shows you what a conniving egomaniac Don Callis is. And quite frankly, that smirk and that smile, I'm telling you, he really gets on my damn nerve. But anywho, I mean, this was another good match. It was a 3-star match, as far as I'm concerned. I mean, I thought this was going to be a squash, but this turned out to be much better than what I expected. And then you had complete and utter chaos afterwards. You had Jon Moxley come out, and he's not done with Kenny Omega. He wants him in a worse way. And then you had the Lucha Bros come out. It was complete and utter mayhem. So I don't know where this is going. So there's really nothing more to add to it. But this was a good match. So 3 stars for me. So Fletch, well, how did you feel about this? We all thought this was going to be the Young Bucks joining them, but Don Callis threw us for a loophole.
Threw a major monkey wrench right in there, and yeah, he changed a lot of the dynamic of this event. But look, here's the thing: Don Callis is the executive vice president of Impact Wrestling. Obviously, he was gonna throw his boys in there. He's gonna give them the opportunity. He's gonna give them the rub. Now, did that offend a lot of people? Absolutely, it offended a lot of people. But you know what? You're the ones that brought him in. You're the ones that basically, you're the ones that brought him in. You're the ones that wanted, Callis and the boys to show up. So, I'm sorry, AEW. I'm not gonna... If he wants to promote something for Impact Wrestling and do it on your dime, cry me a river. That's all I'm gonna say about that. I got nothing against what Don Callis did. I actually applaud him, because what that just did is that just promoted his pay-per-view, Hard to Kill, and now you got to see Omega with the Good Brothers as a cohesive unit, and now that's probably gonna make you want to watch their pay-per-view this Saturday night. And oh, by the way, for all you fine folks who loves Impact Wrestling, myself and Anthony Florio will be previewing Hard to Kill this Friday night on the Cerebral Smack Talk as part of the Mikey's Mindset right after we get done with the SmackDown Live review. So, I mean, yeah, Tony Khan may be a little pissy about it. So could the Young Bucks. But here's the thing: this could open the door for the Bucks to show up. This might be not just a working relationship, but I got a funny feeling the Bucks are not that far behind, and they feel a little screwed right about now. Here's the one thing that could happen, and I'm just gonna be real blunt with you. Maybe the Bucks show up, maybe get some retribution on the Good Brothers. I mean, that could ruin the main event. They could show up, and that could cost Omega and the Good Brothers huge. They could lose that match. Now, there's some good teams there. There's the other side of the fence, the other team that's out there, the Motor City Machine Guns, one of the most legendary, and as a matter of fact, one of the greatest Impact Wrestling World Tag Team Champions we've ever had. And Anthony, you could agree with that, possibly. One of the top teams in Impact Wrestling's history.
Absolutely.
And on top of that, you got yourself a pretty good world champion right now in Rich Swan. He had the feel-good moment of 2020, winning the Impact World title from Eric Young, despite the injuries he was suffering going into it. He persevered, gutted it out, and proved to be a worthy world champion. Now you could tell Don Callis doesn't really think much of Rich Swan, so you know this is a moment for him that he's going to want to make an impact and do something huge and win this match. This will be a very interesting storyline. We got a lot to talk about coming up. So, with that said, we're just going to move right on along. Like we said, after the chaos that broke out, then we had Britt Baker in the waiting room. That had a whole bunch of chaos that broke out. Then we had a tag team match. Marco Stunt and Jungle Boy of Jurassic Express, they went up against FTR. When it was all said and done, winners of the bout in 12 minutes and 16 seconds, FTR wins the match. Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, this was definitely a really good tag team match here. I could give this about 3.25 to 3.5 for this match. I mean, this was definitely very entertaining. But yeah. Now, who won the match? I caught the back end of it because I had to step out for a minute.
FTR.
All right, FTR. Yeah, so obviously a nice win for FTR here, and yeah, so who knows what's next for FTR now after this victory over this victory. So that yeah, there's really nothing more for me to say. Fletch, I guess we could say FTR is really starting to get back on track here.
Absolutely getting back on track. 3.5 stars. Really a good solid match. I don't think there's really anything more to say. So yeah, Anthony Florio, it's yours.
3.5 stars. You can make an argument for Fight of the Night. I mean, great action throughout. I mean, the young with the Lucha Express doing what they do. They did with their high flying ability and the technical wrestling ability of FTR. I mean, it was a recipe for a great match, and they delivered. And the Shatter Machine did them in, and nice win for FTR. And one of their first bounce back efforts after losing the World Tag Team titles to the Young Bucks at November's Full Gear. So we'll wait and see. So solid 3.5 stars. Definitely an argument to be made for Fight of the Night here, no doubt about it. Although a certain main event might have something to say about that. But before we get there, MF, we have what I like to call a Tony special when it comes to this next women's matchup, because these two young ladies are two of my personal favorites, and I will openly admit that.
And it actually has some title implications on it as well, because it was the NWA, the National Wrestling Alliance's women's title was on the line, as Tia Conti got an opportunity to try to win the belt from Serena Deeb. When it was all said and done, the winner of the bout in 9 minutes and 28 seconds, and still the NWA Women's Champion, Serena Deeb, she successfully defends the championship. Great match. Excellent match. And, we don't really say much about the AEW women and how tough it's been for them, without a doubt. But I gotta admit, this was a very impressive performance. Ever since they started bringing in the NWA women, bringing Serena Deeb, bringing Thunder Rosa, it's been a major shot in the arm for the AEW women. Now, can we get consistent matches like this? That's what I hope for. But this was a solid match. Another 3-star bout. And Anthony Florio, it's yours.
Yes, like I said, these are two of my personal favorites. I mean, not just for their beauty, but also for their abilities as well. I mean, I know Ty Conti from when she was in the Mae Young Classic, and Serena Deeb, we all know her body of work. Journeywoman, to say the very least. I mean, she's been all over the place in the world of professional wrestling, and finally getting her big moment here as the NWA Women's Champion, and and they put forth a solid effort. And if only we could get this effort out of AEW signed wrestlers, even though Ty Conti, I guess she is signed with AEW. Serena Deeb still under NWA. I mean, she would be a great addition to the AEW women's division. That'd be a big shot in the arm for them. And very good effort indeed. One of the rare times the women actually impressed. So I do agree with MF's sentiments here. I'm going to give this a solid 3 stars. I kind of had a feeling that Serena was going to go over, and she did. So who knows what's next? But it was announced, speaking of the women's division, that the women's match that we've been wanting to see is going to happen in 3 weeks as part of that beach special on February 3rd. Dr. Britt Baker against Thunder Rosa. We're finally going to get it. So COVID put the kibosh on it, but thankfully we're going to get it in a few weeks. So can't wait to see that. Hopefully that'll be another shot in the arm for the women's division. So we'll find out. Solid 3 for the effort. So Michael Bullock, your thoughts?
Yeah, this was definitely another solid match. I definitely agree on it. Yeah, this was a 3-star match. I mean, what can you say about it? I mean, the NWA women, they've been a total shot in the arm for AEW, because we've said it so many times. Their division is not that good, to say the very least. But yeah, I mean, you definitely gotta give them credit here. So yeah, there's really nothing more for me to add on to it. So Fletch, it is yours.
All right, and we go to the main event of the evening for the TNT Championship, as it was Darby Allin going up against Brian Cage. When it was all said and done, the winner of the bout in 13 minutes and 47 seconds, and still the TNT Champion Darby Allin, he pulls off the upset win. Davis slays Goliath tonight. Anthony Florio, the champion, remains the champion.
Yes, he does, but he certainly had some help along the way, in the form of the Icon, the Stinger. And, he showed up with the bat. He took out Ricky Starks, and I think it threw Cage off his game, and it allowed Darby to score the win. So, which is not a surprise, because I believe they said this was his first title defense since he took the title off of Cody. So So you had a feeling that they weren't gonna take the belt off him after one defense. So 3 3/4 of a star, teetering on 4. This to me was the fight of the night. I mean, I'm not at all surprised it was. I mean, Cage dominated for most of the match, but Darby just kept fighting. Kicking out on a 1 count on a few occasions near the end of the match, and that step spot was very sick, no doubt about it. And but at the end, though, this war is far from over. I mean, there's going to be plenty more where this came from down the road. So, but a very good match indeed. 3 3/4, teetering on 4. This was the fight of the night for me. So, not much more to say. Michael Bullock, your thoughts on our main event?
Yeah, 3 3/4 of a star with when it comes to this. I mean, this was definitely the fight of the night, no doubt about it, hands down. I mean, yeah, I mean, what can you say? I mean, Darby Allin pulled it out, and basically, I mean, he slayed Goliath, known as Brian Cage, and yeah, got some help from the Icon, the Stinger. So after Ricky Starks tried to get involved in the match here, so yeah, so the champ stays the champ. So nothing more to say, Fletch. It is yours.
Yeah, I'm gonna say 3.5 to 3 3/4. I can't give it the full 4, but it was still a great match. It was a great main event, solid to say the very least. And now let's go with overall review. And Michael Bullock, it's yours.
I'll give it about maybe 6.5 to 7. I mean, I thought it was a good show. I mean, it definitely wasn't the greatest. I mean, you did have some filler here that did take away from it, but you did have some solid matches here. So, but but I thought it was good enough for it to be a passable show. So 6.5 to 7. Fletch, quickly, let's give it to you.
All right, I'm gonna give it 7 out of 10. I agree with the passable show. I agree that it was good and solid. I enjoyed it. But some people on the IWC is actually ripping this show really hard. I'm gonna answer a couple of readers. This is from PW ProWrestling.net, and they did a poll. And this is from 2 readers, from 2 people. One person called it utter garbage, but what else is new when it's AEW? And then the other one, really, really, really just went to task on AEW unfairly. But listen to these comments and just give me your thoughts on this. He says, I have to agree with the original reader. Another crap episode of All Friends Spot Fest Wrestling. I only pretend to like it because it makes me seem like a fellow. Well, I can't repeat what he just said because it's very disgraceful and disgusting. But the whole show was embarrassing, especially the main event. Darby Midget beats a man 10 times his size of him clean and with one move by getting his ass kicked the whole match. He kicked out of Brian Cage's finisher at 1. That's what Anthony was alluding to. Is just pathetic. We have class task group in a new job squad because all they do is lose and act like bleep to a 100-year-old Sting. AEW is the most pathetic and embarrassing organization there is. The sooner it dies, the better. Whoa.
Really?
Damn.
Whoa.
Really?
Well,
You want to know what, Fletch?
that
guy
yeah,
is-
I was yeah. I'm not.
Utterly distasteful as far as I'm concerned with his comments. I don't know what the hell. I don't know what the hell kind of a wrestling show this guy is watching.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought it was a good show, and for him to come out and say those ridiculous remarks, I'm sorry, I need to call this jabroni out. I
Yeah.
mean, to me, if you think you know wrestling, I mean, the three of us, we know wrestling far more than you do, you piece of crap. And for you to come out and trash this show that we thought was a 7 out of 10, well, we don't know Florio's
Well,
rating yet.
he's entitled to his opinion, but to call it, but what really I gotta take aim at is him calling it the most pathetic and embarrassing organization there is, and the sooner it dies, the better. Now, that's where the line is drawn.
Yeah,
There's no way
exactly.
that I totally disagree with that sentiment. Now, if you feel like it's a spot fest, I'll agree with it. There's times where
Yeah,
a
yeah,
lot of the matches do come off like a bunch of spot fests. I get it. But this is like the Jim Cornette style of wrestling that just wants to bury AEW every chance he gets. But hey, the fan's entitled to his opinion. We just
but
don't
it's just,
like your opinion right now. We just
yeah,
think your opinion is utter garbage right now. But you're
yeah,
entitled to it. Yo, to each his own. We disagree with you
yeah.
wholeheartedly,
That
and I know
his
Florio. I heard that. Really, I know he's about to pipe bomb somebody. So let's
well,
just
his
get.
opinion, that guy's opinion is what it is: garbage,
Yeah,
complete and utter garbage. And you
I
can
could
take
not
that
believe he
to the
just said
bank.
that. Could not believe he just said that. And if I know Derek Ferrera, I don't know if he still watches our show, but if he finds out about what this fan said, oh my
Oh,
god. Oh my god. You know Ferrera and you know his love for AEW. If anybody says anything derogatory about AEW, look out below.
Or
if
New
Derek
Japan for
Ferrer
that
finds out about it,
Or New
if Derek
Japan.
Ferrer finds out about it, he is going to unleash hell on this person.
Oh
And
yeah.
quite frankly, I can't believe I'm saying this. I don't blame him.
Yeah. Anthony, go ahead. Give me your quick thought on well, you don't need to talk about the guy if you want. If you want to address him, go right ahead. If you don't want to, that's more than fine. Just give me your review so we can get right into NXT.
No, we don't have that kind of time. Sorry. Um,
Okay.
that's all I can. That's all. That's all. I know you want to get my thoughts on it, but
Well,
no.
no. I mean, you're entitled to it. If you want to do it, do it. If you don't, then
Mm,
I'm cool with it. Besides,
yeah,
I'd rather get into NXT anyway.
so do I.
Okay.
So but I do agree with you guys. I mean, completely irrelevant. I mean, when it comes to that, guys. So I mean, I wonder if it's that same guy that was once known as Samuel Adams, who made all those derogatory remarks about Ric Flair and Shawn Michaels from WrestleMania 24. I wonder if it's that
Um,
same guy.
no, his name was Kayfabe. Let me just find it because I could get it. I can get it back. Um, let's see. I think his name was Kayfabe. Let's see. Da, 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 da. Where is it? Where is it? Right here. His name is Kayfabe Forever.
Kayfabe forever, huh?
Yep.
Okay. So all right. So not much really.
Well, he ought,
Go ahead,
he
Bullock.
ought
I
to
know you
change
want
his
to.
name to Crap. He ought to change his name to Crap Forever because that's what his opinions are full of crap.
All right, Bullock.
Yes. Yep. Yep.
Go ahead, Florio.
So yeah. 7 out of 10. That's about right. I mean, we had some good matches, but yeah, there was some unnecessary filler in there, and we'll have to wait and see. Well, but then again, this was a taped show anyway, so I believe it's back to a live show next week, and hopefully that'll get better. We got the Inner Circle competing in a triple threat tag team match up here to determine which tag team will be, the tag team that represents the Inner Circle in the quest for the World Tag Team Championship down the road. So we'll wait and see on that. Some other things on the road there. So Solid 7 for me. So, MF, let's move on to NXT and the start of the Dusty Rhodes Classic.
Yeah, but before we get into the Dusty Rhodes Classic, we had ourselves a women's match to jump off the show, as it was Shotzy Blackheart versus Candace Larae. When it was all said and done, Candace Larae wins the match in 11 minutes and 5 seconds. Solid opener, a little bit of an overbooked finish because Indy Hartwell was definitely being a thorn in this match, getting interference, but it plays into the narrative, it plays into the storyline, it actually works. I don't mind it. I'm gonna go a solid 3 to jump off. This was a good start for NXT tonight. So Anthony, it's yours.
Yeah, solid 3 stars for me as well. Even though this is a little bit on the repetitive side, if I'm going to be honest with you. But but it's the women's division. I mean, we always preach about how great the NXT women's division is, and that was the case here. Yeah, the ending left a lot to be desired, but it is what it is. It's a 3 to 3.25 star match. Now I have to address an elephant in the room real quick. As you notice, you notice I don't have my normal avatar up there. For this little bit of time, I've been joining this through through my phone because of a technical difficulty on my end. But I think it might have been restored. So if it's okay, I'd like to step out for just a minute and then hop back in the usual way. So I'm just gonna step out for a little bit. So I'll be back on within the next couple of moments. So while I'm gone, you guys take it for a spin, but I will be back in just a moment. So Michael Bullock, it's yours. Your women's division, solid but not overly spectacular when it comes to this bout, mainly because of that finish. So I'll see you guys in a moment.
All right.
Okay. Yeah. I agree with you. It was a 3-star match. I mean, they still proved that why the AEW women's division is the best right now. But yeah, the ending did take a little bit away from the. I mean, if we didn't have that little bit of that overbooked finish, I would have given it a much higher rating. But you know what? I mean, this is how the group known as the Way they do it. They do it their way. Uh, Indy Hartwell does her duty, and that's why Candace got the victory. And I mean, I hope that end of this little bit of a rivalry with Candice LeRae and Shotzi Blackheart, and hopefully they can move on to better things for these two. But for right now, 3 stars. There's really nothing more to say. Let's move right along.
All right, and the next thing that we had, well, thank God Anthony Florio is not here right now because
Oh
it's
yeah.
his favorite tag team in the whole wide world, Everrise. They were actually here, and actually, oh great, Florio just showed up. Well,
Oh, wonderful.
yeah, the perfect timing there, Florio. But it looks like you got your traditional setup back, which is awesome. Because we were talking about your favorite tag team in NXT right now, Everrise.
Everrise!
As
Oh,
they were
goody.
going,
Bunch
they
of
were go,
haymakers.
they were gonna go. They went up against the Grizzled Young Veterans, first round match in the Dusty Classic, and yes, Grizzled Young Veterans. They advance. They win at 7 minutes and 58 seconds. So Florio, it's yours. Grizzled Young Veterans sends Everrise packing in the Dusty Classic.
Hallelujah. Thank you, Lord. That's all I can say on that. Everrise. Yeah. Bunch of ham and eggers. But anyways, but um I am gonna be a little nice on this. I'm gonna give this about 2.5 to 2.75 of a star. This was a fast-paced match with some solid tag team wrestling, but the last couple of minutes had a little too much going on at once. A few tag team spots in a row is fine, but once the referee steps aside and just lets everyone be in the ring as much as they want, it becomes too chaotic. Other than that, this was a somewhat fun bout. I mean, the Grizzled Young Veterans, now this is a team that I can get behind. I mean, these guys continue to impress with every outing. But Everrise, not so much. If I'm going to give them professional criticism, they could use a little fine tuning. But no, it's not a little fine tuning. They need a lot of fine tuning. I can't take those guys seriously. The only way I will is if they ever give me a breakout match. But you think that's ever going to happen? No. Nah, honey. Not going to happen. So that's all I can say about that. Everrise, get out. Goodbye. Get out. But as far as GYV go, Grizzled Young Veterans, now that MF, now that is an Anthony Florio style tag team. I love those guys, and I'm rooting hard for them. And I'm gonna make a bold prediction. I think they're gonna win the damn thing. How about that? Put me on the record. Move on.
Well, Fletch, you better put him on the record for it. But I'm pretty sure Florio would probably say, "Why is this team of Everrise in this tournament? They had no business being in it." But that's
no
just
purpose. No purpose at all. But I understand they needed teams because it's a big tournament. They got a lot of teams in this thing. I understand they needed a team, but come on, guys. I mean, I'm gonna steal a quote from Wayne's World 2 here, and MF knows where I'm going with this. I mean, seriously, we couldn't get anybody better. I mean, I know it's not that big of a deal, but I think we can do better than this, huh?
I knew he was going to say that. But yeah, I agree. This was a 2.5-star match. I mean, it was a good match. I mean, no surprise here that the Grizzled Young Vets were gonna go over on this one and move on. But yeah, maybe that's a team you definitely got to keep an eye on in this Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. So nice win for them, Fletch. It is yours.
Yeah, 2.5 stars, no doubt about it. Solid match. I'm not gonna really go much more than that. We're just gonna move right on along. Johnny Gargano versus Dexter Loomis. Gargano wins the match in 7 minutes and 49 seconds. Michael Bullock, it's yours.
This was another fine match, but it was a little too short for my liking. I'll give this about another. I'll say 2.25, 2.5 for the effort here. I mean, I would have loved to see a little bit more out of this, but after the match, I mean, yeah, Kushida basically came out and went after Gargano, and yeah, I think Kushida's made his point loud and clear. He wants the NXT North American Championship, and I think he's going to be the next number one contender for that belt. Ain't that right, Fletch? As I give it to you.
Oh, no doubt about it. You could tell. You could see it. This is going to be very interesting to see. Yeah, there's really nothing more to add. So, solid for what it's worth. And, yeah, Anthony, it is yours. I'm going to give this about the 2.5. Bullock is what you said? 2.5, somewhere in that range?
I said 2.25, 2.5.
2.25, 2.5? Yeah, 2.5. Florio, go.
Yeah, I'm going to go 2.5 on this one as well. Dexter Loomis is one of the most unique talents in all of NXT, but management might not know how it wants to use him yet. It's clear WWE wants to push him, but it's not rushing into it so he can establish its character. Both of these superstars have incredible talent, but it felt like they were holding back a bit in this bout. We have seen many wrestlers save their best ideas for pay-per-view matches, but it was a lot more obvious than usual in this bout. This match was fine, but it never felt like it reached the level these two are capable of getting to. It's hard to pinpoint exactly what was missing. It just fell a tad short. This should have been the match of the night, but won't end up standing out in the end. So 2.5 for me. But MF, I mean, I think after what we saw at the end with the Kushida getting involved and he put his hands on that North American Championship. And I think we all know what that means down the road.
Oh, yeah. We all know what that means down the road.
And I know you're ready for it because I know you're a big Kushida guy. I know you followed him since his Japan days. And
yep.
You know more about him than me. You know more about him than Bullock and I combined. So I know we're going to be in for something special should they pull the trigger on this.
Oh, yeah. He was one of my favorite IWGP Junior Heavyweight champions. Like, he was definitely one of the guys that you really love. And he also had one of the coolest gimmicks with the Marty McFly. Like, I enjoy it every time. He was so amazing. So, yeah, we'll talk about it down the line. All right. So, everybody started going nuts about this, and we need to get into this. Next up was another first round match in the Dusty Classic, and it was Jake Atlas and Isaiah Swerve Scott, and they went up against a team called MSK, Nash Carter and Wes Lee. Now, everybody, you're wondering, you're like, wait a minute, who are these guys?
I know who they are.
Where are they? Who is these guys? What are they about? Guys,
I know who they are.
if you ever seen Impact Wrestling,
Mm-hmm.
they're them rascals. The Rascals.
Desmond Xavier and Zachary Wentz. Yes, sir.
They are in NXT. This is a huge get. I mean, oh my God, they got the freaking Rascals. How the hell did they pull this off? But they did it, and yeah, MSK, they won the match. They advanced in 8 minutes and 36 seconds. This was a hot match, man. This easily, if it wasn't for one other match, this would have been my fight of the night. This was excellent. The body of work was great. Everything looked polished and clean. Give it up for Jake Atlas and for Isaiah Swerve Scott. They did really well. And if you're a fan of the Rascals, oh my God, the odds are now limitless for them. They looked amazing in this match. Well done, great battle. 3 to 3.5 stars for me. Anthony Florio. The Rascals, it looked like they made themselves right at home with the black and gold brand of NXT. Michael Bullock, get ready, boy. You're about to have a lot of fun with this team. They just gave your tag team a shot in the arm.
Big time. Absolutely. Here's another team I would take over Everrise any day of the week. Come on now. Let me see. I agree with MF's rating. This was 3 to 3.5. This was another match that had a quick pace with a lot of energy. But being the debut of MSK, formerly known as the Rascals, made this a little more interesting. WWE did not spend a ton of time hyping their arrival, but it did tease it with some graphics recently. Debuting as part of this tournament was an interesting decision because if they don't win, it means they are going to lose one of their first matches in NXT. Atlas and Scott worked well together, but they were never going to become a permanent team, so being eliminated early is best for them. They did make MSK look good. The only major complaint with this match was a lack of pacing. It felt like they just moved from one spot to the next without taking the proper time to sell anything. That may have had more to do with them wanting to pack as much into the bout as possible, but sometimes less is more, and it certainly was in this case. Nash and Carter, that's obviously their names now, I guess. But I'm still going to refer to them as Desmond Xavier and Zachary Wentz. And gentlemen, welcome aboard. You're a great new addition to Mr. Bullock's brand here, and he doesn't impress easy. Let me tell you something. I know Bullock. He does not impress easy. But then again, I don't impress easy either. But then again, we all don't impress easy. But they certainly, I'm hopeful that they made believers out of him, and we're gonna find that out right about now. So 3 to 3.5 for me, no question about it. So Michael Bullock, I've seen these two guys in Impact Wrestling. I saw them for quite some time. They were fun to watch there. You got to see them for the first time ever. How did these former Impact standouts look to you tonight? Did they impress you or what?
Heck yeah, they did impress me. I mean, I was wondering how they were going to look, and boy, howdy, they really impressed. So 3.5. I agree with the rating. I mean, this was a solid match and a solid debut for MSK, or as Florio called them in Impact Wrestling, the Rascals. And yeah, if they continue to be like that here in NXT, I think we're looking at future NXT Tag Team Champions somewhere down the line. So a really good first impression, and welcome aboard, boys. you're going to make this tag team division a whole heck of a lot better. So, nothing more to say. Fletch, it is yours.
All right, and then we had Xia Li going up against an enhancement talent. Xia Li wins the match. Her name was Valentina Farso. Basically, she lost in 22 seconds. Yeah, we're not going to talk about that. Main event of the evening, another match in the Dusty Classic. A team that has won it all. The Undisputed Era this year, it is going to be Adam Cole and Roderick Strong. They went up against Breezango. When it was all said and done, it was Undisputed Era. UE wins the match in 11 minutes and 57 seconds. Who leads off on this? I want to say it's Anthony. Is it yours?
I think it might.
Yeah, I think it is because I think Fletch led off on the last one.
I believe he did.
All right, so it's you. UE, Undisputed Era advances in the Dusty Classic.
Fight of the night here. This was 3 3/4 to 4 stars. As expected, this was the best match of the night. The chemistry between all 4 men in the ring was off the charts, and they used it to put on a memorable performance. The hijinks at ringside marked the third time a match ended with interference this week, but out of the 3, this one made the most sense from a storyline perspective. WWE addressed 3 different feuds at the same time with efficiency. This bout was a prime example of how good Breeze and Fandango are. They make everything look easy and always elevate their opponents. This was the best possible way to end this week's show. So there's no question about this. This was the fight of the night, 3 3/4 to 4 stars. So not much more to say. Michael Bullock, great way to close out your show this week.
Yeah, definitely a great way to close out the show. 3 3/4 to 4. I mean, no surprise that Undisputed Era was gonna go over here, but yeah, they made Breezango look really good in defeat here. But you had some utter chaos when you had Oni Larkin, Danny Burch, and Pete Dunne, and then of course the NXT champion Finn Balor. So you had some utter craziness, but Undisputed Era overcame it. So that's how they move on. So yeah, there's really nothing more to add to it. So Fletch, it is yours.
4 stars, no doubt about it. Great way to close NXT here tonight. Like you said, utter chaos. That's expected, and they did it beautifully. So nothing more to say. Michael Bullock, you lead off on the final thoughts for the night.
To me, this was a 7.5 out of 10 as far as I'm concerned. I mean, and NXT won this week. Yeah, they had not that many filler matches. I mean, you had that one squash with Xia Li and against that enhancement talent, but other than that, all the other matches were solid to pretty good. So 7.5 for me. Fletch, what do you say? Did NXT win the week?
I agree they won the week, and I agree with your rating, 7.5. I think it was a really good show. I really think there's really nothing. I don't think there's anything more that we could say here. I thought it was a solid show. The body of work was good. I liked the start of the Dusty Classic. I thought all the matches that they did were pretty good, solidly done. Of course, there was the little vignette with Scarlett Bordeaux promoting what undoubtedly is going to be the collision course between Karrion Kross and Finn Balor. I thought that was done really well. I think the only lowlight of the night was Xia Li's match. Other than that, I think NXT did a great job. Well done, guys. Anthony, you got the final say.
Yeah, 7.5 for me, no question about it. I mean, everything, with the exception of the Xia Li bout, I mean, everything else was solid to good to great. And, we got some good things coming up. I mean, next week, I mean, we were wondering, when are we going to get the fight pit match between Tommaso Ciampa and Timothy Thatcher? We don't have to wait much longer, gentlemen. We're getting it next week. Next week on NXT, we're going to see the fight pit match that I know MF is going to be watching with a very vested interest. And the women's Dusty Rhodes Classic is going to start next week with Casey Catanzaro and Kaden Carter. They're going to be squaring off against Tony Storm and Mercedes Martinez. And I think there was another match that and of course some more of the men's Dusty Classic matches as well. But Ciampa and Thatcher, that's the big one right there. I know we're all going to be tuning in to see that one, no doubt about it. So solid 7.5 from me. So not much more to say. MF, let's put a bow on this thing and hit him with what's coming up on our pipeline.
All right, well, tomorrow night is Strictly Sports. We're back. We're going to talk about the national championship game in college football, a beatdown that we witnessed. Alabama claims the title on Ohio State. We're going to tell you how that happened. How did they do it? We'll talk about that. We got some baseball, a lot of baseball news that we need to get into. There was some big announcements that happened as the San Diego Padres looks like they're making a push for the World Series. Added some pitchers that was big gets, and the New York Mets just pulled off a monster trade as they got one of the most hottest young prospects, or one of the hottest all-stars in baseball, as they were able to lure Francisco Lindor, one of Kaiser Butler's favorite players in baseball. She loves that guy. Now he's a New York Met, coming from the Cleveland Indians. How did that happen? And then me and Anthony, we talked about it. We're gonna get into it. The blockbuster trade in the NBA. A monster trade went down earlier today, basically left us all flat-footed. None of us saw this coming, and it is a nuke that got dropped on us. James Harden is a Brooklyn Net. You heard me right, folks. James Harden, the Beard, now joins his old buddy Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. A new big three has now been established in Brooklyn. How did this happen? What's the particulars on the trade of that? We will get into that. Then we'll go with a preview of the NHL. The puck dropped here tonight. Tonight was opening night. As a matter of fact, the banner was unfurled. However, the banner didn't go up. The banner's not going up into the rafters yet. They're going to wait for the fans to show up, and then they're going to do a proper Stanley Cup raising banner ceremony. So they're going to wait for the fans. They showed the banner, so the banner's there at the MOA Center in Tampa, but they're not putting it up in the rafters yet. It's not going up, but it was unfurled tonight. So the fans got to see the banner for the first time, but we'll see that. And in our main event, we're going to get into the divisional round of the NFL. After Super Wildcard weekends in the books, now we got the divisional, and the final 8 is going to go down. We're going to go into all the coverage, all the headlines going into that game, 10:30 Eastern tomorrow night on Strictly Sports. And then Friday night is another edition of the Cerebral Smack Talk. We're going to talk about SmackDown Live. And like I told you guys earlier, myself and Anthony Florio, we will preview Hard to Kill, that pay-per-view that goes down. And then on Monday night will be Ridiculously Raw, hosted by Anthony Florio at 11 p.m. Eastern. Obviously, Monday Night Raw, if it's good. And normally on the Tony's Take, normally he talks about, Impact Wrestling or anything else. But on this night, he will give us the recap. And I might join you on that, Florio. I don't know. I might join you on that. We will recap the Hard to Kill pay-per-view. So that's on Monday night. 1 week from tonight, another edition of Wednesday Night Mayhem, AEW and NXT. So until then, we'll see you guys tomorrow night. For Anthony Florio, for Michael Bullock, I'm Michael Fletcher. Holiday Am Hounds, we're out. Have a good night, everybody. And so long for now. Bye-bye.